Hi all, welcome back to the Sunshine in the City show. Today's topic will be the Queen's speech. As we know, we've had a Prince Charles bunker speech. I have no idea what that was about. It was talking about resetting this world somehow, as if we haven't reset the world already in this coronavirus. And Prince Charles looked to be like in a bunker. Now, I have some concerns. I know that's my common phrase, I have some concerns. Well, as we know, Buckingham Palace has its windows all boarded up. Looks like they're not boarded up, but blue sort of wrapping paper stuck to all the windows or something. It's definitely not a curtain, and curtains usually this is just a straight blue shaped windows. Very strange. The other thing is the royal guards are all gone from Buckingham Palace, replaced by Gurkha. I think it's called Gurkha guards. I have no idea of the what Londoners do, but there's many videos, as you can see, and it's all very strange. Why are the royals gone? Okay, there was a coronavirus. Then we had one crest off the gate, and apparently that was a car crash. Doesn't explain why Prince Charles is in a bunker, and it doesn't explain why the royal guards would be gone, because that's very, very strange. So is there some sort of takeover going on right now? I mean, we seem to be at the end of an age. With every age, we have the Noah's flood, we had the Jesus event, and then we have this coronavirus false flag situation where we're in this flu situation which doesn't really seem to hurt us, and we've been told all sorts of things. I mean, in New Zealand we don't wear masks, and everywhere else in the world you're told that you should wear a mask and that masks are essential. You're told that you should be using spacing 1 metre apart, 2 metre apart, and 1 metre apart. We've been told that nurses only need to be 6 inches to 12 inches apart when they're using the masks on the patients, and it's the patients that are being protected from the nurse with them breathing over them when they have the open wound. And so we're in a situation where we have the royals who are, well, the Queen of England is our Queen. So right now I'm waiting for the Queen's speech, and really hard because the New Zealand day is nearly finished, and I'm not quite sure when the Queen's speech takes place. I mean, usually I see it. Usually it's a bit of blah blah, this, that, sort of has no meaning. And we have this Joseph character saying he's the King of England, which doesn't look true because he's not from the long white cloud, and he has an English heritage. He doesn't have a UK heritage, which would be the joint of the Scottish crown and the English crown in 1707. He goes back to 1500. So if there was some sort of royal takeover, it would have to happen from 1707, so it would be somebody else. The character in Australia called Michael, he's apparently just died not long after that video, and his daughter's dead as well. There is one of his ancestors still alive. But when you're mixing blood in a different country like Australia, where they go, crikey mate, you want a bit of a hamburger and the Barbie mate, and they start talking like that, and you're thinking, well, how can you represent the British crown? It could have been a Kiwi. Kiwi would be much better, and that would be where Joseph Harlot comes in. But seems like a decent bloke, but he talks a bit of nonsense about Antichrist. Says he's coming on a cloud, the long white cloud of Aotearoa, and he's from Bethlehem and Tauranga. He could have just said Tauranga. And he's not from the South Island because he's in the North Island. And I don't think he's ever been to the South Island. I mean, a lot of North Islanders don't even bother. They travel overseas, but they don't even bother with the South Island, which is the most beautifulest place in New Zealand. I was fortunate to grow up in the South Island. We used to travel to Stewart Island, which is the most isolated place in the world. So I'm wondering, with all this, what is going on? Is there a changeover? You had Trump getting the Reserve Bank. He got the Reserve Bank. How did he do that? What sort of changes are taking place? What was there a money transaction going on between USA and England? Because I know when I was a kid, we were taught that we were still paying for the soldiers that fought the Maori in the 1800s. We were still paying that debt to the English crown, and so that we were giving money to the English coffers. And according to Joseph Harlett, he reckons that the money goes to the Vatican, and the Vaticans have some sort of royal vault, which is all very interesting. And maybe something else is going on. Maybe there is something going on between Trump and the royals about creating a fairer system of this virus, and maybe that Trump is more aware of what's going on. QAnon talk about this world order trying to take over. I'm sure the Queen knows about it, and right now Trump is the enemy number one, and the royals might be taking a good old back seat right now and letting Trump take all the crap basically from these riots, which is, they're saying these are Black Lives Matter riots, but if Black Lives Matter happened with a MAGA hat, they would be beaten to their deaths, or beaten to their near deaths. And there was a guy called William, and he's a truther, and I've seen him being scuffled to the ground by security. Black Lives Matters does not matter in USA at all. When you're on the MAGA hat side of things, when you're on the lefty side of things, Black Lives Matter if you're a lefty. Black lives do not matter if you're a Trump voter. And so it's not about Black Lives Matter. It's about attacking America's sovereignty, because it has the First Amendment, Second Amendment, and they can't have that anymore. They can't have America having guns. They have to have racial riots. The world is getting in on it, and the world doesn't care. At the end of the day, we're brainwashed. We're brainwashed that this virus is real. We're brainwashed that we can't hunt. We're brainwashed that we can't fish. We're brainwashed that our reserves need to be shut down, but then it's okay to go out and riot. There's been a little bit now, so it's like, well, can you sign your name and your phone number? And while you're at it, can you say which store that you robbed? Who did you rob? What's your name, your phone number? And we'll get back to you. Hey? Just, take this test to see if you've got COVID, which is a bit of a flu, but, we need to track and trace you because you're a bit of a bad dude turning up for a riot, and we need to know who you are and, who did you rob? Thank you, guys. Thanks for my channel. Hopefully this Queen's speech, we can see it and it comes soon. I don't want to be waiting up all night for it. Because I need to know, is the Queen underground? Is she in a bunker? What castle is she in? What happened in the Buckingham Palace? Why is it all boarded up? What's going on? Where are the royal guards? Is the royal guards with the Queen? And who's around the Queen? Is she in a closed up room with an echo, so she's underground in a bunker? How crazy is this world if this is what's happening, and all the rich people are all hiding underground? Are you nuts? Is this the world that we live in? That the rich people just have to protect themselves while we die up here? But, we're not dying up here, so we'll just carry on. We'll just leave those people under the ground and we'll just carry on with our lives. Why are those people running our lives? We need to be self-employed. We need to say goodbye, stay underground. We're okay. You carry on with your lives under there. You look living good. Prince Charles, he's graying, man. Get a bit of hair dye on there, Prince Charles, you know. I mean, I guess the environment's very important under the ground. So you can't look after yourself, and it shows. Thanks, guys. Thanks for watching my show. And if you could, sub to me. Thanks.